So the leaks for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 8 have come out. And the wait for these leaks was a lot longer, but it was definitely worth the time because the cover is one of the most unique covers and the most different cover that I have seen Ikimoto draw, especially in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. I won't lie, at first I was kind of confused at the way Jura looked, but the more and more I look at the cover, the more and more I come to appreciate it. I love the background, this dark background, and we later come to understand why the background is so dark due to everything that happens in this chapter. Jura has this human-like skin tone, a bit of green like a tree, but he has that humanistic tan with his Renegon that appears to be either purple or blue. I won't lie, it looks a little blue to me, but most people believe that it is purple. So let me know what you think. Do you think that this Renegon is blue or purple? But the chapter starts off with Ida looking with her Sharingan at the fight that Mitsuki and Boruto were having. The side note is the brilliance of both shines on Mitsuki and that light also reaches to Ada. And both basically is Boruto, that's what his name literally translates to in Japanese. But this is kind of interesting. The way that it says it shines on Mitsuki and it also reaches Ada, it might mean that Ada started to fall under Boruto's Riz abilities. I won't even lie, I don't know. It's the looks Boruto in every single panel in the time skip. He looks to perfection, he looks to precise, he looks amazing. And Ida may be starting to switch up. Maybe Kawaki isn't really all that. Maybe Boruto is the one that I may be trying to go and get. But if you guys see that everything is red, this is simply due to the fact of copyright and I'm not trying to get a strike. So everything will be red, but at least this time you can see what's going on. The second page shows Kawaki, who is wondering where Mitsuki is, and we finally get to see Delta. Delta is a super important character in the time skip due to everything that we have learned about Amato. And finally, we get to see Delta make her first appearance in the chapter. And throughout the chapter, she low-key seems like this robotic assistant who is always following Kawaki. That's at least what it appears to me. We see Damien and Delta and Kawaki. Kawaki goes out to go and find out what is happening. He's recently come back from getting knocked out by Mitsuki and is trying to figure out what is truly happening. But something quite interesting ends up happening. We see a clogram, and at first when I saw the clogram, I thought that, oh, maybe Code is coming back. But that's not what really happened, and we later find out what is truly happening in this chapter. We see Boruto continuing to talk with Shikamaru, and Boruto says some things that we can't translate at the moment. We're probably going to wait for either OP scans to translate it or the official translations to come out. And this is where we see Boruto use Flying Raijin and escape and go somewhere else. We don't see him again in this chapter. Kawaki realizes that he can't sense Boruto's presence anymore. Kawaki realizes that he can't sense Boruto's presence anymore due to him going somewhere completely different. Maybe he is still in the village and Kawaki needs to get closer to the village in order to be able to sense him, or he may be somewhere else. And if Boruto is not in the village, it's not the best of news, especially with what we see happen near the end. Kawaki seems to have a conversation with Delta, and we continue. We have Mitsuki, who ends up going back to where Ada is. I don't know how he was able to do that so quickly, but we see him interact with Damien and Ada. They have some sort of conversation, but I don't know exactly what they are talking about. This happens on for a few pages, so this is definitely important. But what's the most interesting to me is what Jura and Hidari plan on doing, as in the last chapter, Jura was saying that it is time to go pay Naruto a visit. And that's exactly what he does in this chapter, as Jura attempts to be this cold guy. I won't even say attempts because he pulls it off. Jura doesn't look that bad. I thought Jura looked a little bit on the ugly side, but with these recent panels, Jura actually looks pretty good in my opinion. He leans back, hands in his pockets, thinking he's cool, but I won't lie, he is pretty cool. And he uses the clograms that we saw a couple pages ago to go to the Leaf Village. I really love this panel that we see right now. I love the speed lines that Ikimoto is using. Ikimoto is really just getting better when it comes to art, and this is not even the best quality right now, as this is simply the leaks. I really love what we're seeing right now from Ikimoto. Jura makes his way outside the village with Hidari, who is still in that dimension. Hidari follows Jura with that same claw grime, and it basically confirms what we saw in chapter 4. The Shinshu have taken possession of the claw grimes. So I really don't know how Code is gonna come back in the story, but when he does come back, he has to be OP. Jura and Hidari are at the entrance of the Leaf Village. Obviously, you can see some of the mistakes in uploading this panel. We see Hidari's head on Jura's cape. This clearly isn't purposeful. This is not Ikimoto. It's most likely an error when they were trying to upload this panel. But I'm really liking the art right now. I'm starting to get a bit of Itachi vibes from what is going on right now. We see a duo just like Itachi, and I think it was Kisame who came to the Leaf Village, and we have Hidari and Jura coming to the Leaf Village. As Hidari and Jura make their way into the village and enter, we have the Leaf Force that is alerted of what is going on. According to some translators, Hidari's chakra is exactly the same as Sasuke, causing some people to believe that Sasuke has come back. But I really like this panel right here. We see Jura and Hidari walking through, calm. Jura always has his hands in his pockets, and I think Hidari is doing the same, but we just can't see his hands. And I really like the look. We see the Konoha randoms, and we see the Konoha randoms looking at Hidari and Jura walk through. Hidari and Jura don't even look at them, and easily both of them end up dying. They were literally just walking, and in the next panel, we see all of them die in an instant. Not even a hand moved, not anything else. We literally just see them die through what appears to be wood style. As we can see, the Shinshu can clearly use wood style, and this is nothing surprising. We could see the Zetsus use various forms of wood style with Obito when he was literally attached by the white Zetsus, and also in the war arc. So this is nothing surprising. But the low-key surprising part is that these are the first deaths that we have seen in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex so far, which goes back to the cover being so dark, as we are moving towards these dark moments where the villains are not just knocking these guys unconscious, they are literally putting them down and bringing them to the afterlife. We go back to the leaked pages that was leaked by the official account, and we already know what happens. They go into the building looking for Naruto, but Naruto is not there. And this is where Kawaki seems to make his entrance. We don't see Kawaki at all, but we see Ishiki's rods / Kawaki's rods at the moment, and Hidari was easily able to dodge them. Jura simply looks, and it's nothing too important to him. Kawaki suddenly appears and was actually able to hit Hidari. There are two things that we notice here. First of all, if you pay attention to Hidari, you could clearly see that Hidari blocked the attack. So it's not like Kawaki caught Hidari off guard necessarily, where Kawaki was able to land a good hit, but it just means that Kawaki had enough power for Hidari to be blocking an attack, but he still feels the shock, which is a good feat for Kawaki. Delta and Kawaki make their way to Hidari and Jura. Hidari doesn't fall like he was severely hit, but he manages to recollect his balance. I don't know exactly what is the text, but all we can see right now is this appears to be a 2v1 versus Delta and Kawaki and Jura and Hidari. Jura instantly puts Kawaki into some sort of tree and then attempts to hit Kawaki. Kawaki then responds by using Sukuna Hikonen and shrinking himself away from danger. We have Kawaki who then attempts to catch Jura off guard, but Jura easily reacts, punching Kawaki's hand and making it blow apart. Do you know how crazy that is? Imagine two people hitting their fist and one person's fist blows up while the other person's fist is still intact. Jura is simply on a different level, and this may simply confirm that Jura is stronger than Hidari. As we are currently seeing, he doesn't even get hit by any of Kawaki's moves. Kawaki, who starts using his karma, is then hit by Jura and is sent flying away. He literally goes to a similar place that all the OG Naruto. If you don't know what this tank symbolizes and potentially is, then you need to go back and rewatch Naruto. We have Kawaki who lands on the reservoir and may not be able to fight again, as we have Delta who literally is going around Kawaki and is like, yo, are you okay? And Sarada and Sumire decide to charge in and see exactly what is happening. According to some translators, Sarada confuses Hidari's chakra signal to Sasuke, which pretty much means that they are the same. Konoha begins to counterattack, and we have Team 10 that is going on to see what is actually happening. Jura simply goes to them and is going to go see who he believes is Naruto Uzumaki, as Jura, keeping his hands in his pockets, makes his way to Team 10. I love the panel that we see right here, and we get a good sense of where they are at in Konoha. Shikamaru, as the leader of Team 10, is taking charge, and Jura looks complete. I love this panel of Jura. Jura looks to perfection. He is not ugly as I used to think. He looks amazing in my personal opinion. And this is the last page that we get. Who is that? Naruto Uzumaki is here. Strange. Her body. What's going on? Following the chakra of the Tail Beast, they arrive at Himawari. Can they intercept the Divine Tree? Which basically means this team is going to fight Jura. We all know what's going to happen, but maybe Hima will save the day. And this panel right here reminds me a lot of the Uzuhiko panel that we saw in chapter 2 before Boruto was about to go and defeat Code. So is Himawari going to go and defeat Jura? I really doubt that. But in the next chapter, we will probably find out what are Hima's hidden abilities. The same one that scared Damien, the same guy that easily dispatched of Code and wasn't scared by Boruto's Uzuhiko. This is very interesting, and right here we have a 10 out of 10 chapter. This chapter is a 10 out of 10 simply off the leaks, and I always tell people don't judge a chapter by the leaks, but I'm judging this chapter by a 10 out of 10, and it simply means that I'm going to enjoy this chapter even more when the full chapter comes out. So make sure to subscribe to the channel for the full chapter review that will be coming out when the chapter comes out.